Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, nama saya Judesrenti Amran, SPDI. Saya adalah guru di SMK Negeri Campalagian, sekaligus mahasiswa PPG dalam jabatan tahun 2021 di LPTK Universitas Negeri Makassar. Dengan nomor induk mahasiswa 219-025-495-013. Pada kesempatan ini, saya akan menampilkan rekaman dari uji komprehensif saya yang dilaksanakan di LPTK Universitas Negeri Makassar. Selamat menyaksikan.
The comprehensive examination. Would you like to let us know which set of your lesson plan that you will use in this comprehensive examination?
I'm going to use set 1, sir. Self-introduction.
Set 1.
About self-introduction?
Yes, sir.
Self-introduction, okay.
Okay, self-introduction. Set 1. Okay. We just need to remind you that the mechanism of comprehensive examination is it will take 50 minutes. From the 50 minutes, 10 minutes is for you to simulate your lesson plan. And then after that, Ibu Amra and I will give you some questions and comment dealing with your simulation and your lesson plan in general. Okay, do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready now?
I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Because you just give me about 10 minutes.
Yes.
Actually, I have a media. There are 3 media that I have to show to my student actually. So should I show the media or just skip it?
Try to use your 10 minutes to do that.
Maybe I
You have 10 minutes, so it's based on your own creativity to do. Which one do you want to do, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, okay?
Okay, thank you, Mom.
Yeah, okay. Now, are you ready?
Inshallah, sir, Mom.
Okay, yeah. Bismillah, you may start your simulation.
Okay, good morning, my lovely students. How's life? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, now before we start, let me check your camera. Could you please turn on your camera and mute your mic? Except I ask you to unmute it for responding me. Okay. Now, let me check about your attending list first. Nelly? Okay, great. Fatma? Aswir? Okay. Wow, amazing. Looks like all of you are present today. I'm glad to know that. Now, before we studying, I want to ask one of you to become a volunteer to lead the pray before study. Who wants to be the volunteer, please? Okay, time is yours. Amin. Okay, my lovely students, why do we have to do the prayer before studying? Because actually we hope that it will make our easier to understand or accept the knowledge during the learning process, and we don't have any obstacles or any difficulty in this learning process, so that our learning process will be running well. Okay, thank you very much. So now, are you ready to study? Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I believe that all of you have been ready for your equipment to support our learning process today, but actually I still want to check it first. So now I want to ask, how about your data internet? Is it enough to join this class today? Okay, thank you. And now, is anybody here have a bad connections? Or do you have any trouble of your connections now? Okay, thank you very much. No bad connection, okay. Now, the last, have you downloaded the students worksheet that I have sent to your WhatsApp group? Yeah, actually you have to make sure that you already have that, because it's one the main important equipment that we are going to use today. Okay. Well, students, because this is the first time we met, because as you know that you are the newcomer, I'd like to say welcome to Vocational High School of Champalagian, and I hope that you always be the best, keep studying, and never give up. Now, some say that don't know, then don't love. So I would like to introduce myself to you all. My full name is Judeslianti Amran SPDI. You can call me Mrs. Jade. I was born in Champalagian, but currently live in Pambusuang. And I'm a big fan of swimming and fitness classes. Now, for the semester, I'm going to be your English teacher. And nice to meet you all. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you, is everybody here know what are going to be learned today? Okay, what? Can you tell me? Yeah, that's right. We are going to learn about self-introductions. But now, let me know. Who can introduce yourself, or how you introduce yourself in English? Because I'm sure that in this class, every student have done that. Who want to be the volunteer? Okay, please try to introduce yourself in English. Okay, thank you very much. That was a simple and an example about how to introduce yourself in English. And then the next question is, how about how to introduce someone to others? Who knows how to do that? Or maybe is everybody here can introduce me to your friends? Because just now I have told you about my myself. Okay, who want to be the volunteer? Time is yours. Wow, thank you very much. That was amazing. It was the example how to introduce someone to others. Okay, well, all of you have known that we are going to learn about self-introduction, but before we go further, I'd like to tell you about the learning objective about this material. The first, I hope that after joining this learning activity, all of you or all of the students will be able to identify the basic concept in self-introduction. And then all of you are able to ask and respond regarding to the self-introductions. And the last, all of you will be able to make a dialogue or a monologue regarding to the self-introductions. Okay, today we are going to have a discussion regarding this material, and then there will be a presentation section after that. Okay. Now, I would like to show you two videos, and then I hope you pay attention on these videos and analyze or observe what can you conclude from these both videos. And it is very recommended for you to take a note, okay? Now, try to prepare your notes. And then I'm going to show you this video. Just pay attention on this. I'd like to ask you, what can you conclude from the video? I mean, from the first video and the second video. What's the difference or the similarity of the both video? Can you tell me what have you found? Okay. Yeah, that's great. The first video is talking about how to introduce yourself, and then the second video is talking about how to introduce someone to others. Okay, now I'm going to divide you into some groups because you are going to do a discussion about this material. And now look up your students worksheet that I have sent to your WhatsApp group, especially for the task 4. Okay, the instruction is a working group. Try to discuss about the basic concept in talking about self and the pronoun as well. So here's are your group. The first group is Lisa, Aswir, Dewi. Okay, it was your group. You have to make sure that the job description is clear so that all the members will be active. Now, I will ask you to dismiss this class and make your own class, but don't forget to send me the link because I'm going to check your progress about your discussion forum, and then I'll give you time about 10 minutes to welcome back to this link or to this room again. Okay, see you and good luck. Okay, now the first group. How about your progress now? Do you have any difficulties, or do you have a question about your discussions process? Okay, yeah, you have to try to find what is the basic concept of self-introductions, and you can also find, for example, there's opening or greetings and leave taking. You can find or give some example of them to show it or present it on your presentation later. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you very much, and I'm going to move to the next group because I want to check their progress also. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, because time is up, guys. Welcome back to our main link. It's time to present your presentation. We are going to begin with the first presenter, the first group. Time is yours. Just present your presentation now. Okay, that was the presentation from the first group. I want to ask from the others, do you have any comment or suggestion or want to give a response to the discussions? Okay. I think that's all about the presentation. All of the group have been present their presentation, and that was very great. Thank you very much. Okay, so is anybody want to give me a conclusion about this material today? Okay, anyone else? Okay, thank you. Do you find any difficulties in learning process today? Okay, now one of you have to make a summarize of this. All of you have to make the summarize. And would you like to please do the self-evaluation for our reflection today? And you have to answer some questions. Actually, I have given it to your LPTK or student worksheet in the back. Just answer the question, and then the next meeting, actually we will still start learn about self-introduction, but we will be more focused on the practicing and the exercising. And the last before ending this class, I just want to say thank you very much. It was a very great, most of you have involved to the discussion, responding and giving comment. Although some of you is still reluctant to do that, but I believe that you have eager or willing to do better and better in the next meeting. And now before that, I would like to one of you to deliver or to pray again before we end this class. Okay, who want to be the volunteer? Okay, thank you very much. I think that's all today for today, and see you next time. Thank you very much for your participation and have a great day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, good job, Ibu Judes. Yeah, although you use extra time to accomplish your simulation, that's good. Okay, now Ibu Amra, you may start. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hi, Ibu Jude.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, nice to see you again.
Me too, Mom.
Yeah, let's start. My first question. You mentioned in your lesson plan 2 meetings,
Yes, Mom.
meeting 1 and meeting 2. So what you simulated just now, is it for meeting 1 or meeting 2?
Meeting 1, sir. Mom.
Meeting 1. Okay, now my question. So what are the learning objectives of meeting 1?
On the meeting 1, the students can identify the basic concept of the self-introduction, and then they can they know how to, what is that? Just now I have said. They know how to give a response and asking about self-introduction. And the last, actually, there are...
Yeah, could you mention in your learning objectives, because I read 5, yeah, learning objectives here. So number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Could you mention number 1 is for meeting what? Number 2, meeting 1, meeting 1, okay?
Okay, I will open my... Okay,
Yes.
the learning objective. From how to identify, it's in first meeting.
Okay.
And then
Next.
when the students have to know how the differentiate between the expressions, actually also in the first meeting. And then how to analyze them also in the first meeting. And then how to make a dialogue or monologue actually in the first meeting too, Mom.
What about learning objectives? Learning objective number 3.
Number 3 is how to demonstrate or practicing. I have said that just now. In the second meeting, we still study about self-introduction, but we more focus about exercising and practicing. Because I make those students' worksheet, there are many tasks on there. I put there, so maybe I will ask my students to do the tasks. More focus on the exercise.
Okay, so yeah, let's focus on meeting 1, Ibu Judes. Okay, yeah. Let's focus on meeting 1. Okay, because this is for what you stimulated just now is for the materials of meeting 1. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the learning objectives of meeting 1 are 4. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, learning objectives number 1, 2, 4, and 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now do you think you have elaborated them in the learning activities?
Yes. Yes.
Yes?
Yes, I do.
Okay, now my next question. Learning objectives number 4. You said that it is in the C6. Are you sure?
How to
it's
analyze?
In the level.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. No.
You mentioned here C6.
Are
you sure?
C4, sir, Ma'am.
Yeah.
Analyzing is C4. I'm sorry. Because.
Okay. So be careful. Okay, yeah. When you write down your lesson plan.
Yeah. Actually, I understand that because you know, Ma'am, we just always, what is that? Change our lesson plan when the reflection after Picon we change again. I really forget, but I remember that analyzing is the C4, not C6.
Okay, so try to revise it later. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Now,
thank you.
Next, I'm very interested in reading your main activities. Okay. And then you wrote down the syntax of the scientific approach, and then you combine it with the PBL.
Yes.
Okay, you put in the left column about the syntax of scientific approach, and then under the activities is the syntax of PBL.
Yes.
Could you explain the relation between scientific approach and PBL model of learning?
Sorry?
Could you please explain the relation between scientific approach and PBL model of learning?
Yes, thank you very much for the questions. The relations, there are many relations here as I have put on my lesson plan. For example, when I'm talking about the scientific approach, there's the first syntax is observing, and in the in the learning process that I show to my students, the first is I ask my students to observe the videos. So I think that's the relation, the syntax of scientific approach as give the step that we have to ask the student to observe something, and then I did it in my learning activity. And then about questioning, the next syntax of scientific approach is questioning. After observe the video, I ask my students to questioning or give any question about what have they learned or what have they watched. Maybe about the conclusion, and at that time I try to build the critical thinking of my students. And then the next syntax of scientific approach is experimenting. As we know that experimenting is we give our students activity how to find more information about the material. And in this case, I ask my students to find more information from other sources like internet or maybe their prior knowledge and combine it and then give a conclusion about it. And then after that, I organize the next syntax of PBL after orientation to the problem is organizing. And then in this time, I organize my students into some groups, and then they communicating.
Yeah, okay, Ibu. Next. Are you sure that your learning objectives can represent your LKPD, media,
Yes, ma'am.
materials?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
sure?
I'm sure.
Yes, let's see your LKPD.
Okay.
Yeah, LKPD. Let's see.
I'm sharing here, or
That's okay. How many learning objectives for the LKPD?
4.
What are they?
Actually, all of them, ma'am, because about the practicing in interview, because there are 2 lesson plan here. The first is online and not online. So about if practicing in online, I changed the theme. I use interview section to practicing their the self introduction. But when I do it in real class, I choose the komedi putar diskusi to practicing this. So there are 2 techniques that
now let's see the answer for the learning objective 1. Can you show us?
Yes.
To identify.
Okay. Maybe can you see the screen, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. To identify the text, I think it's happened in task 1.
In task 1.
Yes,
okay.
and what is that? The video 2 also. They can identify by comparing the both videos. The first, they can identify, the first video is talking how to introduce yourself, and this is the way. And the second video about how to introduce someone to other. That's
okay. What about learning objective 2? Which text? Which text?
It consists on this video also, Mom, because from both video, they can identify, they can understand the expression that we have to use when we introduce someone and when we want to introduce ourselves. Actually, in this both video, and after that they find more information from the other sources. I asked them to do that.
Okay, so the worksheet for the students of the learning objective 1, we can find it in text 1 and 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, both of them. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. What about learning objective 4?
Yeah, learning objective 4, we can see here in task 4. I
What
asked
about
my
text 3?
text 3
What about text
is
3? You
practicing,
skip
ma'am.
text 3.
Practicing, ma'am.
How could it be? How could it be you skip the practicing in the meeting too, and then you come to the next learning objectives?
Actually, ma'am, I just want about how to break it down into the first until the 5 learning objective. I just focus on this the cognitive.
Which one
level.
do you think it is? Which one do you think is necessary for the students in meeting 1? They make a monologue or they practice? Probably they practice the conversation from the video. Which one do you think? In the first meeting, the students have to make a monologue, and then in the second meeting, they have to demonstrate what?
How to introduce themselves. But sorry, ma'am.
Ya, perlu dipikirkan ya, perlu dipikirkan tingkat-tingkat latihan ya. Kegiatan yang cocok di meeting 1 dengan meeting 2, karena ini ada 2 pertemuan, Ibu ya, untuk self introduction ya.
Yes.
Untuk self introduction dan penggunaan pronoun. Sudah menggunakan pronoun di pertemuan pertama?
Yes, ma'am.
Tidak ada penjelasannya. Oke, saya pikir perlu Ibu memerhatikan itu. And just now you stimulated online learning. Is it right? Tadi ini dari hasil simulasinya sepertinya Ibu menjelaskan secara online ya. Berarti ini online learning yang terjadi ya, Bu ya?
Yes.
Bukan offline learning.
No, yeah.
Okay, so how important the technology in this current online learning?
It's very important because as we know that right now there's a pandemic like a COVID-19, so it's very difficult for us to assemble in one place. So one of the way that we can use is of course by using technology like a Zoom meeting or JMeet or WhatsApp to do the learning process. So
Okay, go on.
Okay, and then how to make our class is more interactive. I think technology also be very important here because we can see that by showing them a video or animation will make them more interesting to join the meeting. And also technology make us as a teacher more easier to deliver our lesson to our students.
Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, you stimulated just now the materials online. Unfortunately, what I could read from in your lesson plan, you didn't state anything about online learning. There is no statement that you are going to use Google Meet or Zoom or WhatsApp in your lesson plan.
Can you see?
What do you think about that?
Under
what?
Actually, there are 2 lesson plan that I have uploaded. The first is daring, and the second is pembelajaran jarak jauh.
No, I didn't find it. What time did you? Because I only found Judas Lianti Amran, dokumen rancangan pembelajaran set 1, Judas Lianti Amran, rancangan pembelajaran set 2, Judas Lianti Amran, rancangan pembelajaran set 3. Atau mungkin baru di-upload terlambat ya?
Satu set, Mam. Set 1 itu di dalam semua RPP, LKPD.
But you didn't put the explanation there in the cover. This is for online, this is for luring. Did you do it?
Can I show you, Mam?
No. I cannot see it, Ibu. Di sini langsung RPP.
Iya, memang RPP, Bu. Yang bukan
Tapi tidak ada penjelasan, Ibu, yang mana online, yang mana offline.
Di RPP ada dua, Bu. RPP pertama, saya yang luring, luar jaringan. Sedangkan setelah luar jaringan, setelah tanda tangan kepala sekolah, saya bikin lagi RPP untuk yang daring.
Hold on, let me try to find it.
Di set 1, Mam, semuanya saya masukkan. Kan katanya kemarin.
I think it is better to make us clear, okay? To make us clear, you have to put in your cover that this RPP consists of luring and daring, okay?
Oh, yes.
Jadi dipikirnya kita melihat cuma memang terdiri hanya satu set saja untuk offline, gitu kan?
Ya.
Tapi tidak ada penjelasan bahwa ini ada juga ternyata untuk online, gitu.
Saya lupa memang, Mam. Harusnya yang daring saya taruh di bagian atas. Ada, Mam. Cuman saya letakkannya yang
tapi
luring
tidak ada
dulu.
explanation. That's why itu Ibu yang membuat ini. Hold on, kita coba ya.
Kan kalau bagian
Karena
atas
ini akan berlanjut dengan pertanyaan saya selanjutnya.
rancangan pembelajaran RPP jarak jauh ada di bagian setelah RPP pertama.
What page? Bisa ditahu karena di sini ada 71 halaman.
Sebentar saya buka dulu memnya di sini.
Ya, buka memang.
Enggak. Karena cuma LKPD tadi yang saya buka. Sebentar. Yang untuk daringnya dia di halaman.
Sepertinya saya tidak dapat, Ibu.
Ini, Ibu.
Ini satu set aja ini.
Halaman 6, coba 6 atau 7. 6 ke 7.
Bukan, Ibu, halaman 6 tanda tangan.
Di bagian bawah, scroll ke bawah sedikit. Ada rancangan.
Ini pembelajaran jarak jauh.
Ini yang di bawah yang saya pakai.
Ya, inilah Ibu yang membuat kami tidak paham ya isinya karena Ibu tidak menampilkan ya bahwa ada daring, ada luring gitu, Bu.
Yes,
That's okay. Mari kita cek ya. Tapi tetap tujuannya sama ya. Sama tadi seperti yang di atas. Oke. Lanjut. Mana? It's quite the same. The main activity, there is no explanation that you're going to use what kind of media, WhatsApp or Google Meet or
I put on the, saya kira cuma di bagian bawah, Mam, kayak begini. Menggunakan ini media alat, bahan, sumber belajar, WhatsApp, Zoom meeting, video, worksheet atau LKPD dan lembar penilaian.
Ya, sebaiknya di lesson plan perlu dicantumkan ya. Di situ di bagian activity-nya pertemuan itu dilakukan melalui Google Meet supaya jelas, Ibu ya. Di langkah-langkah pembelajarannya. Walaupun online kita lihat media, tapi kan nggak jelas di langkah-langkah pembelajaran kita yang mau memeriksa gitu. Jadi mungkin pertemuan dilakukan secara Google Meet seperti tadi yang disimulasikan oleh Ibu dan itu dijelaskan bahwa student pembelajaran akan dilakukan melalui Google Meet gitu ya. Oke.
I'm sorry, Mom.
That's okay. Mana tadi? Yeah. So how do you implement the materials to the students online? Do you think the students are easy to understand the materials or not?
Maybe because in one class, ma'am, there are many kind of students. There's some students are faster in learning and some of them not. But if I see my material, I think yeah, we can say that they can understand the material.
Are you sure? This is online, and then you said that the students, your students, probably some students are easy to understand, probably some of them are not.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not just what is that? I give a clue. For example, if my student don't have anything to think, I mean they are blank. At that time, I always give a clue to them, so that the learning process is not stuck on the thinking process. For example, if I ask, what can you conclude from the videos? If they don't know how to conclude the video, maybe I give again the other questions, like what is the girl doing? Actually, when we see the expression, what expression is that? I always give the stimulate or question to build their critical thinking, and then they can speak up about what they know. Maybe that's for me how to implement.
Okay, now still with the online learning, I focus on online learning based on your simulation just now. Okay, now you have the allocated time. Now, do you really use the allocated time to teach the students online, or probably you still need much more time than what you set in your lesson plan? You really use 80 minutes to teach the students, or probably you need hours to teach them?
Okay, but before that, I'm so sorry, ma'am. Actually, I missed to, I want to make a clarification about the time. Actually, in the in the first in the 8 minutes, it's not 8 minutes, it's 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's
it's
why.
10 minutes.
Is it
and
enough 8 minutes in the introduction in online learning?
I'm wrong to put that, ma'am. I will give the explanation from kegiatan awal and the for meeting. I set 10 minutes. And then about the learning process, it's 105 minutes. And how in the last I set 20 minutes, because all of the total the total minutes that I have to spend to teach the first in one meeting is 135 minutes.
135 minutes? Are you sure?
Yes, because 45 minutes times 3. In SMK,
really?
Yes, in SMK,
oh, yes. Okay.
In SMK, ma'am, we just have one meeting in a week.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Are you sure they're all enough, or you still need much more time to gain the students' understanding? This is online learning. Probably there are some unexpected things happen.
Yeah, actually, this is just a plan document. This is my plan. But sometimes we got any obstacle in doing this material. So if only I don't have enough time to deliver this meeting, I can save it to the next meeting, because there are 2 meetings here, and then I can set or the rest what is that, the rest that the students maybe cannot accomplish at the time, I save it, I keep it to the next meeting. I will continue in the next meeting.
Okay, I think I've talked too much. Now the last question: what do you like and what do you dislike about your perangkat pembelajaran?
what do I like? I like when my students doing their presentation. Because when they, at that time, I can observe or make reflections of myself, because that is actually the last step on that learning process. So when they are presenting, when their friends are commenting and giving response, I can make the conclusion about my reflections. I can see that my learning process is success or not. That's what I like. And when I don't like, I don't like doing the online meeting, because actually I like to see my students directly. I don't like actually to see only by like this. I don't like. I want to see my students directly. I want to speak with them, more bonding the connection with them. That's what I don't like about my learning process in online.
Thank you so much, Ibu Judeslianti. Okay, next your turn, Pak. Pak Lasundra, it's your turn now. I'm done. Pak Lasundra. Bapak Lasundra, I'm done. It's your turn, Pak.
Pak.
Should I go on? I still have a question.
Don't hard question, Mom.
Yeah, I'm done. It's your turn, Pak.
Okay. Well, Ibu Judes.
Yes, sir.
My first question itu di pengantar RPP Anda, you akan menanyakan berbagai pertanyaan, mulai dari pertanyaan aktual sampai dengan pertanyaan hipotetik. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you give us some examples of actual questions and hypothetical questions?
Okay.
In this meeting, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I hope I'm not misconception about this question. Okay, about the actual questions, of course, it's talking about the actual happen around my students. For example, just now I have asked my students, could you tell me how to introduce yourself? I think that's one of the questions means the actual question. And then about the hypothetical questions, as I know, hypothetical question is the question that makes the students give a representative interpretation about something. So when we give the question, the students will give the interpretation according to their knowledge and according around the students. And the example of these questions, like how you introduce yourself, or how can you how do you introduce someone to others? For example, can you introduce myself to your friends again? So that I hope that after hearing that questions, my students will give the interpretation. Oh, yeah, I know how to introduce Miss Judes is I have to say her name where does she live, and so on. Maybe that for me, sir, the actual and the hypothetical question.
Oke ya, jadi pertanyaan-pertanyaan terakhir Anda sebut itu justru pertanyaan aktual namanya. Kalau pertanyaan-pertanyaan hipotetik, ya mungkin pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang saya kira betul penjelasannya tadi yang memerlukan interpretation dari siswa untuk bisa melakukannya. Kalau pertanyaan-pertanyaan aktual, kalau pertanyaan tentang misalnya keadaannya, siapa namanya, di mana ini itu aktual. Tapi hipotetik itu pertanyaan yang memerlukan implikasi interpretasi. Dia harus berpikir agak keras untuk bisa menjawab pertanyaan itu. Oke, next. You in your LKPD you show us some videos. Ada video 1, ada video 2. My question is, in which part of your lesson plan you will use video 1? In which part? Since di langkah-langkahnya tidak kelihatan kapan digunakan video 1. Can you explain it?
I showed the first video when they observe the material, sir.
When apa?
When I give my students to observe in the first step on kegiatan inti, main activity.
Coba, apakah Ibu Judes memutarkan videonya itu pada saat kegiatan pendahuluan atau pada saat masuk kegiatan inti?
Kegiatan inti, Pak.
Kegiatan inti di bagian mana? Apakah di orientasi problem learning, problem based learning, atau di langkah-langkah berikutnya di mengorganisasikan, membimbing dan seterusnya?
Orientasi, Pak. Orientasi. Sama sekali.
Ya. Nah, saya kira ini cara Ibu Yudes menulis langkah-langkah menurut saya belum kurang detail. Seharusnya di langkah-langkah itu secara detail menunjukkan kapan lembar kerja ini digunakan, kapan video ini mereka harus tonton, dan seterusnya. Harus nampak di langkah-langkah. Jangan langkah-langkahnya lebih abstrak seperti ini. Be detail. Harus menunjukkan semua secara detail situ ya, sehingga kita bisa tidak perlu bertanya lagi kapan diputarkan ini video, kapan dan seterusnya. In case misalnya you need to be replaced by other teacher, maka your lesson plan will work.
Yes.
Do you agree with me?
Yes, I agree, sir.
Next, are you sure you have already integrated some content of 21st century skill in your lesson plan?
Yes, sir.
How can you make us sure about this?
Yeah, as we know that about the C4, C4, there is critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. About the critical thinking, there is in the main activity, especially when I ask my students to identify the videos, both videos, I ask my students to give me a conclusion after watching that. So I believe that in that step, all of my students will build their critical thinking to find the answer, how to give a conclusion about the videos. That's about the critical thinking. And then talking about collaborations, actually I have said just now, I divide my students into some groups, and after that doing a presentation and giving comment and responding. And at that time, I believe that the collaboration and communication is happened or applied. And then about the creativity, actually it's happened on the LKPD or students worksheet. I asked all of my students to do some activity or task that can build their creativity to make or to finish the task. I think that's all, sir.
Okay. Can you be more specific, showing us in which part of your lesson plan the starting point of building students' critical thinking skill starts?
The activity, sir?
Yes. So show us in your lesson plan.
Okay, you can see on the orientation of problem-based learning, the teacher give the students a chance to identify as much as they can about the video that they have watched.
Hmm?
Is that you mean, sir?
Yeah.
So at that time, all of my students must thinking hard to find the answer, how to find the differences between both videos that I have shown to them, and then what is the similarity and what point should be conclude. I think at that time, sir.
Okay. Next, how do you take the most advantages of your worksheet, especially video 1 and video 2, to help your students master the skills of how to introduce themselves and how to introduce others?
I'm sorry, sir. How? Can you repeat the question, sir? How? Can you repeat the question, sir? I can get it.
You provide your students video 1 and video 2.
Yeah.
What I would like you to explain to us is how do you take the most advantage from these 2 videos in order to help your students develop their mastery on how to improve, how to introduce themselves and how to introduce others.
I put these 2 videos because the first video and the second video is very different. The first video is talking about how to introduce themselves, and the second is how to introduce someone. I myself think that when I put these both videos together, it will be make my students easier to understand the differentiate between how to introduce someone and how to introduce others in the same time. Because when I give them, I separate it, it will be make the students confused. So I put them both together so that my students can easily identify what's the difference and others. Maybe just that, sir.
Okay. dealing with pedagogic competence, I would like you to think about the learning theory which underlie your lesson plan development. Do you think you design your lesson plan under the theory of behavioristic, or you design it under the theory of cognitivistic, cognitivism, or constructivism, or humanism? Can you brief us about this?
Yes. Okay, I think I combine them, sir. From the first, talking about what is that? Behavioristic. As I know, behavioristic is technical method. It's learning process that focus on stimulating and responding. And I apply this learning in when I provided the media. I stimulate my students by giving them a media like a video, and then my students give a response. So at that time, I think that I applied behavioristic. And then about the constructivistic, I also use it when I ask my students to find the answer by themselves, such as they are after see the video, I ask them to find more information from the different sources, like from the book, from the internet, and then they can find the answer.
Okay.
I use constructivistic.
Okay, wait a minute, Bujudes. Do you think you are more behavioristic or you are more constructivistic in designing your lesson plan?
Constructivistic, sir. I'm
more constructivistic.
Yes.
How are you sure?
I'm sure that as we know that.
Can you show us some details in your lesson plan showing that you are applying constructivism, contrastivistic theory?
Yes,
show
sir.
Us. Yes.
The first, I applied the constructivistic in when I give my students to when I ask my students to find more information by themselves, it's constructivistic. And then when they are discussing and responding and asking about the presentation and find the find the answer by themselves, I think it's constructivistic too, sir. So both them I can present to you that I use constructivistic in my lesson plan.
Okay, that's good. Good point. Now, probably this is the last question. I'd like you to tell us 3 good points that you have already done in your lesson plan. 3 good points.
Okay, I'll try. I don't know if this is a good point or not, but actually, sir, before I joined this PPG program, I actually don't use anything in teaching my students. I just use notebook. I just ask my student, okay, try to open this page and write it, and then after that, I'll give you explanation in the next meeting. After that, after I give the explanation, I ask my students to write again the exercises and so on. So I was giving a bored learning process. But now I find some new good point for me. after join this program. The first is I'm going to use media to support my learning process. Like here, I use PTT. I will try to use PowerPoint and video in my learning process. That's the first. And the second point is I never use before joining this program. I never know about the syntax, the method or anything. Like I said, I just give that so on and so on. And this case or this time, I use the what is that? The apa lagi tuh namanya? Teratur. The teratur step. I mean, the step on my learning process is more
systematic.
Yeah, more systematic. That's what I mean, sir. More systematic than before. That's the second good point for me. And the last, as before, I never use the LKPD. I never make it before, and this time I make my own students' worksheets to my students. That's the third good point for me. So I can, what is that? Make sure that my learning objective is achieved or not by my students. That's
yeah, I agree. They are good point, I think. Yeah. Okay. This is the very last question.
Oh my God.
Do you think you still have some aspects or points in your lesson plan that needs changing or improvement?
Yes.
Yes. Can you tell us just two and how will you improve it in order later to become a professional teacher?
What I want to do with my lesson plan to improve it, the first I have to make the reflection of me when I teaching, so that I can identify what should not be done or what should I do to the next meeting. That's the first. And the second, I have to be able to understand, have many references about the class organizing and the method, the innovative method, so that my class is not boring and always interactive. I think just that, sir. You asked me to.
Okay. Yeah. Congratulations. You have already responded to our question. You have done your simulation. Well, congratulations. That's all from us. Yeah. Thank you. And hopefully you will become a more and more professional, effective teacher in the later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, sir.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Ma'am, see you next time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ya, good luck. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.